The old wizard's experiments destroyed the castle centuries ago. So why does some of the rubble look recent? Hello everyone, my name is Elspeth. You're watching the Planeswalker Pantheon, and today we are opening up a collector's box of Commander Legends, Dungeons and Dragons, Battle for Baldur's Gate. Whew. Anyways, let's just get into the shiny, shall we? I love the rulebook art. The rulebook artworks. That's just me. I know some people aren't a fan of it. I enjoyed it all through. As both a fan of Magic and Dungeons and Dragons, I'm so happy that these two. As a relatively newer fan to Dungeons and Dragons, I've been a fan of Magic a little bit longer. But just to see these two worlds collide, and for me to have someone to actually bond over with my D&D group, it's always great. So we'll take out our packs. That's all of them. That's great. Alright. Let's go for the first one, shall we? Alright. Look through commons, uncommons, basic. Ooh, Sky Diamond in the old frame. Ooh, Street Urchin in our etched art. Ooh, we've got to have a mythic already first up out of the pack. It's the Vexing Puzzle Box. So for 3 mana, you get an artifact. Whenever you roll 1 or more dice, put a number of charge counters onto the Vexing Puzzle Box equal to the result. Tap to add 1 mana of any color, roll a d20. Tap and remove 100 charge counters from the puzzle box, search your library for an artifact card, put it into the battlefield, and then shuffle. We have a Tilakadi Hunter, so 5 and 2 green, you get a creature, Scorpion Scout. Interesting type one. It's a 7/7 with trample. Once each turn, you may pay 0 rather than pay the mana cost for a creature spell you cast from exile. And for 1 green, you can send it on an adventure. It's a sorcery called Retrieve Prey. Exile target creature card from your graveyard until the end of next turn. You may cast that card. Tomb of Horrors Adventurer. So for 5 and a blue, you get a creature, elf monk. It's a 4/4. When it enters the battlefield, you take the initiative. When you cast your second spell each turn, copy it. If you've completed a dungeon, copy that spell twice instead. You may choose new targets for the copy. Ooh, we have a Baba Lysiga Night Witch in our etched foil. So for 1 black and green, you get a legendary creature, Human Warlock. It's a 3/3. Tap, sacrifice up to 3 permanents. If there are 3 or more card types among the sacrificed permanents, each opponent loses 3 life, you gain 3 life, and draw 3 cards. Ooh, we have 9 Fingers Keen in the in the rulebook artwork. So for 1 black, green, and blue, you get a legendary creature, Human Rogue. It's a 4/4 with menace and ward of pain, 9 life. When Keen deals combat damage to a player, look at the top 9 cards of your library. You may put a gate card from among them onto the battlefield. Then, if you control 9 or more gates, put the rest into your hand. Otherwise, put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Ooh, we have a foil Zelvor Eltrul Exile. So for 1 blue, black, and red, you get a legendary creature, Tiefling Warrior. It's a 4/2 with haste. 2 and tap. When you next cast an instant or sorcery spell that targets a single opponent or a single permanent an opponent controls this turn, for each other opponent, choose that player or opponent they control. Copy the spell, and the copy targets the chosen player or permanent. And we have a foil Boar and Treasure. You know what? We will put art cards here. These are all rares. I think that'll work. I'll work it out eventually. Man, I think these packs are just getting harder to open. Alright, so I'll flick through commons. Oh, foil Mindstone, you can't complain about that. Got our basic Imogen Mystic Trickster in the alt art. OG the Exquisite Blade. Scion of Halister, always very nice to see. Our first rare is Jaheira, Friend of the Forest. So for 2 and a green, a legendary creature, human elf druid. It's a 2/3. Tokens you control have tap and add green. Choose a background. We have a Sonic Ritual. So for 4 and 2 blue, get a sorcery. Replicate, tap an untapped horror you control. Exile target instant or sorcery card from a graveyard and copy it. You may cast the copy without paying its mana cost. Exile the ritual. We have the Owlbear Cub. So for 2 and a green, you get a creature, Bird Bear. It's a 3/3 with Farmer's Coming. Whenever Owlbear attacks a player who controls 8 or more lands, you look at the top 8 cards of your library. You may put a creature card among them onto the battlefield tapped and attacking that player. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. We have Gunch the Bestower. Is our etched foil, so for 1 green and white, you get a legendary creature Jellyfish. It's an 0/5 with flying. At the beginning of your end step, choose a player. They put 2+1/+1 counters on a creature they control. Choose a second player to draw a card, and choose a third player to create 2 treasure tokens. We have another Zelvor Etrul Exile in the rulebook. Ooh, we have a extended art foil, Battle Angels of Tyr. So for 2 and 2 white, you get a creature, Angel Knight. It's a 4/4 with flying and myriad. When it deals combat damage to a player, draw a card if that player has more cards in hand than each other player. Then you create a treasure token if that player controls more lands than each other player. Then you gain 3 life if that player has more life than each other player. And we have a squirrel and a treasure token. Next on up. Alright. Commons, uncommons, basic. Coral Sea Scale Singer in the alt art. We have a Flaming Fist. Levan Cultist of Tiamat in our etched foil. Our first rare is Call to the Void. So for 4 and a black, you get a sorcery. Each player secretly chooses a creature they control and a creature they don't control. Then those choices are revealed. Destroy each creature chosen this way. We have a Nalia de Arnes. So for 1 white and black, you get a legendary creature, Human Rogue. It's a 3/3. You may look at the top card of your library at any time. You may cast Cleric, Rogue, Warrior, and Wizard spells from the top of your library. So hint, hint, if there are any tribal spells, you can actually do this as well. At the beginning of combat on your turn, if you have a full party, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control, and those creatures gain Death Touch. We have a full art, extended art Reflecting Pool. It's a land, tap to add 1 mana of any type that a land you control could produce. We have an etched foil, Nine Fingers Keen. We have a rulebook Volo Iterant Scholar. So for 2 and a blue, you get a legendary creature, Human Wizard. It's a 2/3. When it is the battlefield, you create Volo's Journal, a legendary colorless artifact token with hexproof, and whenever you cast a creature spell, note one of its creature types that hasn't been noted for this artifact. 2 and tap and draw a card for each creature type noted for a permanent you control named for target permanent you control named Volo's Journal. Choose a background. And we have an extended art Wizards of Thay. So for 3 and a blue, you get a creature, Human Wizards, a 3/3 with myriad. Instant sorcery spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. You may cast sorcery spells as though they had flash. And we have the Undercity and the Initiative. I just want to see, just for once, the bunny token in person. I just want a bunny. That's all. Just a bunny. Alright, there we go. Alright, skip through these. Skip through this. We have a Taunting Kobold in foil in the alt art frame. Rail Kingpin. Rasan in Bashir in our etched foil. Our first foil rare is Earthquake Dragon, so for 14 and a green, you get a creature elemental dragons at 10/10. It costs X less to cast, where X is the total mana value of dragons you control, and it's flying and trample. 2 and green, sacrifice a land, return Earthquake Dragon from your graveyard to your hand. We have Savrok's Tome, so for 4 mana, get an artifact. When it enters the battlefield, you take the initiative. Tap to add colours. If you have the initiative, to add double colours instead. 3 and tap exile cards from the top of your library. You may, until you exile a non-land card, you may cast that card without paying its mana cost. Activate only if you've completed a dungeon. We have Jaheira's Respite. So for 4 and a green, you have an instant. Search your library for up to X basic land cards, where X is the number of creatures attacking you. Put those cards onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. Prevent all combat damage that would be dealt this turn. We have Diana Invoker Adept. So for 1 blue, red, and white, you get a legendary creature, human wizard, to 4/4 with haste. You may activate abilities of other creatures you control as though those creatures had haste. Tap when you activate an ability this turn by spending 4 or more mana to activate it. Copy that ability. You may choose new targets for the copy. We have Alundro the Seer, so in the rulebook form as well. So for 2 green and blue, you get a legendary creature, human shaman, to 3/5. Tap, draw a card, then exile a card from your hand and put a number of time counters on it equal to its mana value. It gains when the last time counter is removed from this card. If it's exiled, you may cast without paying its mana cost. If you cast a creature spell this way, it gains haste until end of turn. Then remove a time counter from each other card you own in exile. So it's a nice little suspend mechanic. Ooh, we also have a foil Volo in the art book frame. We have a Pegasus and a treasure token there as well. I love seeing, like, I always, like, whenever there's a D&D set that's coming, like, I did this with AFR as well. I was just so excitedly showing my D&D group just all the stuff that it's finally happening. And actually, because I've nearly been with them for a year as a consecutive player, as a thank you and to celebrate, I'm actually going to be DMing for the first time. But I'm going to be DMing a little magic campaign, just a one shot, just to sort of get my feet wet, so to speak. So I've never done it before. We have a fire diamond. Skip that. Flaming fist in the etched art. We have a foil owlbear cub, just a normal one this time. We have Venture Forth. So for 3 and a green, you get a sorcery. Exile cards from the top of your library until you exile a land card. Put that card onto the battlefield and the rest onto the bottom of your library in a random order. Exile Venture Forth with 3 time counters on it. You can suspend it for 3 for 1 and a green. Wind Shaper Plantier. So for 4 and a white, you get a creature angel. It's a 4/4 flash and flying. When it enters the battlefield during the declare attacker step, for each attacking creature, you may reselect which player or planeswalker that creature is attacking. Very nice in original Odric, I think. We have Baal, Lord of Murder. So for 2 black, red, and green, you have the legendary creature god. It's a 4/4. As long as your life total is less than or equal to half of your starting life total, Baal has Indestructible. Whenever another non-token creature you control dies, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature and goad it. We have Merkle, Lord of Bones, in the rulebook artwork. So for 4 white, black, and green, you get a legendary creature god. It's a 7/5. As long as your life total is less than or equal to half your starting life total, Merkle has Indestructible. Whenever another non-token creature you control dies, you may exile it. If you do, create a token that's a copy of that card, except an enchantment, and loses all other card types. We have a foil extended art, Undermouth Adventurer. So for 3 and a green, you get a creature giant warrior. It's a 3/4 with vigilance. When it enters the battlefield, you take the initiative and tap to add double green. If you've completed a dungeon, add 6 green instead. We have a soldier and a treasure. Next one up. We will flick through again. We have Savrok Deathbringer in the rulebook frame. Master Chef. Also Coastslayer as our etched foil background. As our rare, we have Gale Waterdeep Prodigy. So for 2 and a blue, you get a legendary creature, human wizard. It's a 1/3. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell from your hand, you may cast up to one target card of the other type from your graveyard. If a spell was cast from your graveyard this way, it would be put into exile. If it would be put into your graveyard, exile it instead and choose a background. We have Black Market Connections as our first extended art. So for 2 black, you get 2 and a black, you get an enchantment. If your pre-combat main phase, choose one or more. Sell contraband, you create a treasure, you lose a life. Buy information, draw a card, you lose 2 life. Hire a mercenary, create a 3/2 colorless shapeshifter creature token with changeling, you lose 3 life. We have a Mirror of Life Trapping. It's actually kind of funny that this came up. My character actually got trapped in one of these very early on when my character first was starting out in our campaign. So for 4 mana, you get an artifact. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield, if it was cast, exile it, then return all other permanent cards exiled with the Mirror of Life Trapping to the battlefield under their owner's control. We have an etched foil Noble Heritage. I hope the camera is picking that up. It's a legendary enchant. For 1 white, you get a legendary enchantment background. The amount of creatures you own have, when this creature enters the battlefield and at the beginning of your upkeep, each player may put 2 +1/+1 counters on a creature they control. For each opponent who does, you gain protection from that player until your next turn. We have Duke Ulda Ravensguard. So in the rulebook artwork, so for 4 red and white, you get a legendary creature, Human Noble Soldier. It's a 5/5. At the beginning of combat on your turn, another target creature you control gains haste and myriad until end of turn. Oh, that's real pretty. We've got a full extended art foil luxury suite. It enters the battlefield tapped unless you have 2 or more opponents, and it taps for black or red. Hey, we've got Volo's Journal in foil, which is very nice, and a treasure. Very, very good. We've got a Volo's Journal to go with our wonderful Volos, both in rulebook form. Actually, you know what? Part of me wishes that they kind of extended the rulebook artwork for the tokens, like especially if it's attached to a creature, like how the Volo's Journal is. Alright. We have our commons. Nice to see Geogolem back. Our forest. Oh, we have a Khadgar Arch Shadow Druid. Oh, we've got a Spire Garden. So this is the red green land that goes in like with the luxury suite that we opened just before. We have a multi-class Baldur. So for 1 mana, get an artifact equipment. Equipped creature has lifelink if you control a cleric, death touch if you control a rogue, haste if you control a warrior, and flying if you control a wizard. As long as you have a full party, prevent all damage that would be dealt to equipped creature, and you can equip it for 2. Very nice. We have Lazelle's Acrobatics. So for 3 and a white, you get an instant. Exile all non-token creatures you control, then roll a d20. 1 to 9, return those cards to the battlefield under their owner's control at the beginning of the next end step. If you get a 10 to 20, return those cards to the battlefield under their owner's control, then exile them again. Return those cards to the battlefield under their owner's control at the beginning of the next end step. So you get to blink twice or just blink once. Oh, we have an etched foil of the Chancellor of 4. So for 3 white and a blue, you get a legendary creature, Human Noble. It's an 08. Whenever a player draws their second card during their turn, you draw a card. Whenever a player casts a second spell during their turn, you create a 2/2 white knight creature token. We have a rulebook Gale Waterdeep Prodigy right there. And a foil rulebook Miriam Sentinel Wyrm. So for 3 green, blue, and red, you get a legendary creature, Dragon Spirit. It's 6/6 with flying and ward 2. Whenever another non-token dragon enters the battlefield under your control, create a token that's a copy of it, except the token isn't legendary if that dragon is legendary. We got the bunny! Apparently these tokens are really hard to get, but I'm so happy I got a bunny! Look, it's a cute little bun! And a treasure. But bunny! Next one up. Alright, so we've got our foil commons. Oh, foil fireballs, always nice. And our LASIK. We got a rulebook foil lightning bolt, which is always nice. Travel and Bora is our etched foil. Or we got a foil Eldritch Pact. So for 6 and a black, you get a sorcery. Target player draws X cards and loses X life, where X is the number of cards in their graveyard. We have a Solemn Doom Guide. So for 3 and 2 black, you get a creature, tiefling, cleric. It's a 4/5 with flying. Each creature card in your graveyard that's a cleric, rogue, warrior, and or wizard has Unearth 1. We have, extended art Eldritch Pact right there. We have an Etchfoil Lizelle Valkith's Champion. So for 2 and a white, you get a legendary creature, Gith Warrior. It's a 3/3. Whenever you put 1 or more counters on a creature or planeswalker you control, or on yourself, put that many +1 of each of those kinds of counters on that permanent or player instead. Choose a background. We have an Ancient Gold Dragon. So for 5 and 2 white, this is in the rulebook frame, by the way. It's a 7/10 creature, Elder Dragon. It has flying. Whenever Ancient Gold Dragon deals combat damage to a player, roll a d20. You create a number of 1/1 blue fairy dragon creature tokens with flying equal to the results. And we have Astronon's Thirst. So for 3 and a black, you get an instant. Exile target creature. Put X +1/+1 counters on a commander creature you control, where X is the power of the creature exiled this way. We have another Undercity Initiative counter. I'm just happy I got my bunny. And it's a foil. It's a good little bunny. Alright. So we've got our foil commons, foil uncommons, basic. We've got Amira the Merciless Soul, etched foil Hardy Outlander. We have another Baal Lord of Murder. We have a green slime signing something different. So for 2 and a green, you get a creature ooze. It's a 2/2 with flash. When this is the battlefield, counter target activated or triggered ability from an artifact or enchantment source. If the permanent's ability is countered this way, destroy that permanent, and you can foretell it for a single green. We have an Eltrul Survivor. So for 3 and a red, you get a creature, Tiefling Peasants, an 0/4 with trample and myriad. As long as it's attacking, it gets +X/+0, where X is the number of lands defending player controls. We have John Inisius Shattered One in etched foil. So for 2 blue and a black, you get a legendary creature, Elf Wizard. It's a 3/3. At the beginning of your end step, target opponent gains control of up to a 1 target creature you control. Put 2 +1/+1 counters on and tap it. If it's goaded for the rest of the game, and it gains, this creature can't be sacrificed. Whenever a creature you own but don't control attacks, you draw a card. We have another Deinhardt Invoker Deft, but in the rulebook artwork. And we have a foil extended art, Altar of Baal. For 1 and a black, you get an artifact. You can put on an adventure for 2 and a black for a bone offering, which is a sorcery adventure. Create a tapped 1 and 4/1 black skeleton creature token with menace. 2 black and tap, exile creature you control, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield, activate only as a sorcery. And we have a construct and a treasure. What makes constructs here? I can't even remember offhand. Oh well, it'll come to me eventually, or not. Alright, skip through commons, skip through uncommons. We have a Goggles of Night in our rulebook artwork. Several Deathbringer. We've got True Soul Zealot as our etched foil. We have a foil Wand of Wonder. So for 3 and a red, you get an artifact. 4 tap, roll a d20. Each opponent exiles cards from the top of their library until they exile an instant or sorcery card, then shuffles the rest into their library. You may cast up to X target instant and or sorcery spells from among them without paying their mana costs. 1 to 9 is X is 1. 10 to 19 is 2. And if you get 20, you get all 3. Alright. We have Faldorn Dread Wolf Herald. So for 1 red and green, you get a legendary creature, Human Druid. It's a 3/3. Whenever you cast a spell from exile or a land enters the battlefield under your control from exile, create a 2/2 green wolf creature token. 1, tap and discard a card. Exile the top card of your library. You may play it this turn. We have a Blade of Selves. This is a nice little reprint. So for 2 mana, you get an artifact equipment. Equipped creature has Myriad, and you can equip it for 4. We have an etched foil Volo. Apparently my box loves Volo in all forms. I won't read it again, but there's another Volo for the collection. We have Bane, Lord of Darkness. So for 1 white, blue, and black, the legendary creature god, it's a 5/2. Has the same god text as the previous ones. Whenever another non-token creature you control dies, target opponent may have you draw a card. If they don't, you may put a creature card with equal or lesser toughness from your hand onto the battlefield. And that's in the rulebook artwork. We have another foil 9 Fingers Keen there as well. And we have a 3/3 Demon token, which is a little bent. And a treasure. Next one up. Alright. This is actually the second last pack because I have been good and keeping track. Commons, Treasure Keeper, Prize Seal, Plains. Oh, we have a foil rulebook gut. Oop, sorry, an etched foil Lohan Dragon's Legacy. Another 9 Fingers Keen. I believe some of these will be going in my trade binder later. We have a Delayed Blast Fireball as our first extended art. For 1 and 2 radiant instant, Delayed Blast Fireball does 2 damage to each opponent and each creature they control. If this spell was cast from exile, it does 5 damage to each opponent and each creature they control instead, and you can foretell it for 4 and 2 red. We have the White Plume Adventurer, so for 2 and a white, you get a creature, ogre, or cleric. When it is the battlefield, you take the initiative. At the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, untap a creature you control. If you've completed a dungeon, untap all creatures instead. We have an Etchwell Zelvor Eltrul Exile. We have a Miriam Sentinel Wyrm, again, but in the rulebook art. We have a extended art foil Caves of Chaos Adventurer. So for 3 and a red, you get a creature human barbarian, it's a 5/3 trample. When it enters the battlefield, you take the initiative. When it attacks, exile the top card of your library. If you've completed a dungeon, you may play that card this turn without paying its mana cost. Otherwise, you may play that card this turn. And our token is upside down. It's a sapperling. So that's what the sapperlings, that's the take of the sapperlings that they decide to go for. Which is really interesting. Last pack. Ooh, got a grey slide. I actually fought some of these in my campaign as well. Evolving Wilds. Reset Carl Kingpin in the rulebook artwork. Sword Coast Adventurer. Savrock Deathbringer in the etched foil. Our first one is, hey, it's that classic, it's a Barroom Brawl. So for 1 and a green, you get a sorcery. Target creature you control fights a target creature you control fights target creature the opponent to your left controls, then that player may copy that spell and choose new targets for the copy. So everyone gets in. We have a Deep Gnome Terramancer. So for 1 and a white, you get a creature gnome wizard. It's a 2/2 with flash and mold earth. Whenever 1 or more lands enter the battlefield under an opponent's control without being played, you may search your library for a plains card, put onto the battlefield, tapped, and then shuffle. Do this only once each turn. Ooh, we have an extended foil Baldur's Gate, the namesake for this set. So it's a legendary land, it's a gate. Tap to add colors. 2 tap, add X mana of any one color, where X is the number of other gates you control. We have an etched foil Raised by Giants. It's a for 5 and a green, you get a legendary enchantment background. Commander creatures you own have base power and toughness 10/10 and are giants in addition to their other types. Oh, we have a full art Ancient Bronze Dragon. So for 5 and 2 green, you get a creature, Elder Dragon. It's a 7/7 with flying. When it deals combat damage to a player, roll d20. When you do, put X +1/+1 counters on each of up to 2 target creatures where X is the result. We have a extended art foil Wand of Wonder. And that's our token, that's our copy, that's our treasure, and that is the end of the box. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, share, favorite, and subscribe. So lets people know that we exist and that we're making content. You can follow me on Facebook, links are down below, and find us at the Planeswalker Pantheon on Facebook as well. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.